guys, it's Sarah and I am here to do a Disney layout, and I'm going to be doing the Tower of Terror. So I have a couple of 4x4 pictures that I'm going to be using here, and I'm going to put them in the middle of this red cardstock, which I'm also going to use to back my background paper with. So I'm going to go ahead and put these side by side in the center here, and then I'm going to cut them out using my craft knife. So I'm just going to pretty much gut the middle of it, and then the outside edges are going to be peeking out behind my background paper. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the edges and just make them straight around the pictures there. And I have a picture of the actual ride, the outside of the ride, and then I also have a picture of my husband who is screaming his head off. And that's from those little pictures that they take inside the rides. We didn't end up buying any, but he kind of took a snapshot of it with his phone right after the ride. So I just thought it was hilarious. Okay, so I'm using this background paper from Creative Imaginations, and it has the lines and the dots and everything, and I thought that was kind of fitting for this because it's, since it's the Tower of Terror, it's very vertical, so I thought this paper would help kind of highlight the verticalness of it. And then I also mounted it onto some yellow cardstock, and I have a couple little scraps here that I'm going to use as well. I have that black and white grid, and that is a paper from Studio Calico. It's just a big scrap that I have. And then I also have a Studio Calico little strip right here of just a yellow diagonal stripe. And that was just in my scraps folder, so I grabbed that, and I'm going to go ahead and fishtail both ends of it and use it as kind of a banner to help ground my pictures on the bottom. And then I also have that number little scrap here, and I believe that's from Studio Calico as well, and it just has a bunch of numbers on it, and I thought that was kind of fitting to kind of signify like numbers of the floors that they went up. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get these down, and I cut the numbers there in half, and I'm just going to use a little bit on the top, a little bit on the bottom, and kind of make it look like it goes all the way underneath it. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this little piece down here as well. And so now I'm going to go ahead and work on my title, and I'm going to be using these stickers, and these stickers are called Stylist, and they're a really tall foam thicker in gray. So I'm going to use these to spell out the word terror, and then the rest of my title will be Tower of, and I'm going to be using these small basic gray letter stickers here. And I'm gonna go ahead and punch them all out and then realize I don't have an F. So I'm gonna have to MacGyver one of my T's to make it an F. And what I do is I just take the T and I cut off one end of the top of it and then just glue down the end there into the center to make an F. So I'm just gonna stick that right down there. And you can't really tell unless you're really examining extremely closely that I've cut it. So that is how I did that. And now I'm going to use my adhesive and just put down the rest of these to complete my title. I'm going to go ahead and add one of these Mickey head paper clips, and these are from EK Success. I'm just going to put a glue dot on the back of it so that it stays where it is when I stick it down where I like it, and I like it right there, so I'm going to make sure that sticks. And then I am going to work on my journaling. So I'm just taking a little piece of white cardstock. I'm going to cut it down to the size I need it. And then I'm going to outline it with my pen just so that it makes a good distinction there. And then I will do my journaling on here. And I'm just talking about how my husband went on this ride, and he hadn't been on it in a very long time because we hadn't been to Disney for a long time. And he said it was a lot more terrifying than he remembered. So he got off and he kind of went, yep, that was pretty terrifying. So I wrote that down there, and I'm going to go ahead and stick this right in this spot. And then I'm kind of thinking I'm not 100% sure exactly what else I want to do on here. I don't have anything else pulled for it as far as supplies go. So I'm kind of looking around and trying to see, you know, what else can I put on here. I'm going to grab this little tin that I have on my desk that just has some random stuff in it that I want to try to use up here and there. So I'm going to go through here and see if there's anything in here that I think could work. I'm looking at some of these Ali Edwards phrases, but nothing's really jumping out at me. And I'm just looking at some of these. These are just kind of stuff that's towards the end of its life and stuff I can start using. And then I find this little red wine bottle cut. So this is literally foil cut from a wine bottle, and I've had it for a long time, but we had a bottle of wine and it was called Josh, and I kept it because it's my husband's name. And so I thought that was kind of funny. And since this layout is really only about him, and since he's the only one in our immediate family who went on the ride as far as me and the girls, so I went ahead and cut out that, and so it says Josh on it, and I'm going to go ahead and stick it on this layout. And it's red, so it works nicely. And I'm just going to use some glue dots to stick this down. But yeah, I have that tin that I need to be pulling it out more often every time I work on the layout and just see if there's anything I can kind of start getting used up there. And then I'm still thinking I need at least one more thing on here. I'm just not quite sure what. And usually when I get to that point, I will pull out my die cuts and I will go through them and see what I can use. A lot of times I'll be surprised with die cuts that I have that can actually end up going really well with the layout. So I am gonna pull one out, and this one is from Basic Gray, and then I find this right here, and that ends up being perfect. It's just a circle, and it has like just lines and circles on it. You'll see them much better in the close-ups, but to me it kind of resembled like elevator, like the old school elevator symbols, I guess. Like if you're in an elevator and it's showing you what floor you're on, you know, and it kind of is like a dial almost instead of the electronic ones. So I thought it kind of went pretty nicely because, you know, when you get in there, you go in an elevator and all that. So I think that that kind of helps tie it up pretty nicely there. And then that's going to complete my layout. I still look at it a few more minutes just to make sure there's nothing else I want to add, but there really isn't. I'm really happy with the way that this looks. I think that kind of just added that little extra touch that I was looking for. So I have some close-ups coming up here for you, and please let me know if you guys have any questions at all, and I will be back again soon with some more layouts for you. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.